Mr Speaker. I rise to support the very clear and rational articulation of our Labor position on this bill, which obviously is to not support it. I've attended one Commerce Select Committee, which was this afternoon, so I feel more than capable of contributing to this debate. The TVNZ Charter actually isn't the problem. That side of the House want to make it the problem, but the reality is that it isn't the problem. There is no empirical evidence or clear rationale about what is broken. National just wants to dismantle our current broadcasting framework because it was a Labor initiative and because they want it to make money. It's all about the money. On this side of the House, we want TVNZ to make good quality local programs that provides the framework for our creative industry. So we want to employ people, unlike that side who loves sacking people. So make New Zealand-made programs. That's what we want TVNZ to do, and that is what the TVNZ Charter instructs TVNZ to do. So a little bit of history. The TVNZ Charter came into effect on the 1st of March 2003. It established the principles of TVNZ as a free-to-air broadcaster committed to broadcasting content that includes all genres and informs, entertains and educates New Zealand audiences. The Charter is supposed to, number one, contribute to our sense of citizenship and our national identity. We don't say, show us the money, like they do over there. We say, show us the depth and breadth of New Zealand. And the Charter does this by ensuring that New Zealanders see New Zealanders on TV. And how do they do that? They do that by fostering programs that enable all New Zealanders to have access to material that promotes Māori language and culture. They do that by reflecting the regions to the nation as a whole, and they do that by promoting understanding of the diversity of cultures that actually make up New Zealand's population. If we let the market do it, I'm sure it'll be very white and bland. You won't see Māoris, you won't see Indians, you won't see Asians, you won't see Pacific people, because that part of party over there don't care about representing all of New Zealand. They just want to represent some of New Zealand. And that's probably the some of New Zealand who receive the $44 million every week in tax cuts. It doesn't go to people that Sua Williams-Seal and I represent. Now, the leader of the National Party, John Key, and let's get it right, he is the leader of the National Party, has said that those guys over there were abolishing the TVNZ Charter because it wasn't working. He said there'd been a number of inquiries. Well, actually, I just want to go immediately to an article by Peter Thompson, and he is a senior lecturer at Unitec in the School of Communication, and he's been monitoring TVNZ since 1999 and looking at how it balances its public service and commercial responsibilities. And what he said is John Key has got his facts wrong. Oh, what a surprise. John Key got his facts wrong. He said there was only ever one inquiry, and in fact that inquiry didn't say that the Charter wasn't working. Actually, it said that New Zealand content had increased. But what happened, and I love how the National Party, they don't like looking at history all the time, but the Select Committee, the last Select Committee that was chaired by National's very own Jerry Brownlee, actually did review the Charter because there's a statutory requirement to do that. And unlike the 15 submissions that the current Commerce Select Committee had, they actually had 286 submissions. 286 submissions that actually said that the Charter review was working well. It was endorsed by the Commerce Committee, and I love this quote, any sensible government in a democratic society should embrace, not eschew, the broad cultural and civic aims of the Charter. But that's not what that side of the House likes to do. They like to throw things out with the bathwater, but actually that quote from this particular paper is coming. What he also says in his paper, Peter Thompson, is that National's drive to dismantle the centrepiece of Labor's public broadcasting initiatives appears to be motivated by ideology, not empirical evidence, surprise, surprise, and it is currently proceeding with indecent haste in the hope that the Charter will be dead and buried before anyone gets round to generating a rational debate on the issues. Well, I guess that's what we've engaged in at the moment, a rational debate. Well, one would hope we are anyway. From our perspective, I think we've been very clear in articulating that this is very much about money, which is what National is all about. This is about privatising a state asset, which we're obviously completely opposed to. And why are we opposed to it? Because for us, opportunities that our state broadcaster provides is actually a framework for a whole industry that enables New Zealanders to reflect the diversity and the depth and breadth of what our New Zealand identity is. It encompasses Māori culture, it encompasses Pacific culture, and in fact it's really interesting to look at some of the wonderful programs that the Charter has delivered. Programs like Face to Face, Agenda, Eye to Eye. Obviously we've also, under the Charter, historically been able to see the memorial proceedings for Sir Edmund Hillary. Now imagine if we were to reflect that commercial imperative today. I wonder what corporate actually would want to have publicly funded the Sir Edmund Memorial for all of New Zealanders to see. And actually that's a really interesting question to ask. And if this goes ahead and it becomes a commercial entity, who will pay for that? Well, who's going to pay for that? The Māori Queen, obviously, the unknown warrior. There have been many opportunities for New Zealanders to see ourselves because of the Charter. I actually want to skip to the final paragraph in Peter Thompson's very informative analysis, actually. And he says, ultimately then, the shortcomings of the TVNZ Charter arrangements do not constitute an excuse to reject the desirability of the values and outcomes it aspires to. That's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. The government may claim a mandate for change, but its mandate is to fix the mistakes of the Labour government's broadcasting policies, not to abandon public service ideals and revert to the commercial excesses of the 1990s. The cheap and cheerful rhetoric about an exciting high-tech media environment and policies for the future and the causal dismissal of academic objections as unworldly idealism is intended to stifle open public debate, because National knows that empirical evidence and reason will demonstrate that its broadcasting policies cannot deliver the public outcomes it claims, and that the real impediment to establishing public service television in New Zealand is the chronic deficit in political vision and will. And we see that chronic deficit in political vision and will across that side of the House every single day. We've seen it by this minister, we see it by your leader, the chronic, I love that term actually, the chronic deficit in political vision and will. That government has no regard for who we are as New Zealanders. I don't think they care. Actually, I don't actually think they care. That's me, I think. I think I've given it a good go. Hopefully, Trevor, you'll be marking me highly. I've mentioned a few of the things that are very important to us. But thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I call Melissa Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.